Welcome to another episode of F It, I've Got a Brain Injury. My name's Ken, and I'm here with Jesse.
The idea of this podcast was to have a podcast for people with brain injuries, for people with family members who have brain injuries, for people who want to learn more about brain injuries. And I wanted to let it be known that me and Ken, the hosts, have brain injuries. So I apologize for my voice. And I also apologize for Ken's face. Thank God you can't see it. He has a face for radio.
I have a face that would make a freight train take a dirt road.
So sit back, relax, grab some popcorn, and enjoy.
Hi, and welcome to another edition of F It, I Have a Brain Injury. Today we have Jerry Hoepner with us. He's from the University of Wisconsin-Eau Claire. And if you want to talk about your accolades, what's under your name, you could probably do that because I don't know.
Yeah, I don't have too much to say. I'm a professor of speech language pathology at the University of Wisconsin-Eau Claire, and I teach courses in brain injury rehabilitation and counseling and swallowing disorders. So that's kind of what I do from a teaching standpoint, and I do some clinical work in the area of traumatic brain injury and acquired brain injury rehabilitation, and yeah, research in that area as well. Thank you for having me.
Thank you for coming.
Thank you.
And I do have a little bit of history with you. I think it was that about 5 years ago we went to Chippewa Flowage.
That's right. That was a fun time up in Hayward, Wisconsin.
Yeah, and I do believe I just got off the lake, so there weren't any fish biting.
Yeah, I think you might have caught a couple of small northern.
Well, the reason this actually happened is because I have really good friends in Chicago, and they made me get off my ass, literally. They got me the plane ticket out here, said, you're going to do this, and you're going to like it. And I guess that was about the only way I would get the balls to do it, more or less.
I got to meet your friends. They seem like amazing people.
They really are.
Really fun to interact with them.
You just need people to get you started on it, and that's what they've done for me. They really have. They've been the best.
That's fantastic.
Like, I do want to say sometimes for me, getting out of my comfort zone is actually a good thing, to feel nervous, and you learn from it, more or less.
Agreed. I think that's a great attitude. When you can push yourself just a little bit beyond that comfort zone, you continue to learn, you continue to heal and recover. So I strongly recommend that. Yeah.
And thank God I had good family and friends, because that's the only reason I did it. I wasn't going to go out there at all, because I used to be a big fisherman, and now where I can only use that one hand, I just don't do it as well, so I didn't want to do it.
Yeah, and I think having those supports is really important. And they, if I recall, created some adaptive fishing equipment for you that allowed you to hold your pole and reel with one hand.
Yeah, and they got a bigger one for me this time.
Oh,
so I can so I can lose more fish that way too.
There you go. Nice.
I'm more interested in talking about your camp that you run, and I think you've been doing that since '04, if I'm not mistaken.
That's right. Yeah, last year we celebrated our 20th year of the Chippewa Valley Aphasia Camp, and this year will be our 21st year. So, what can I tell you about the camp?
How it's run, how many people usually go to it?
Yeah, absolutely.
Is it on? Oh, go ahead. I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
I was wondering if it's right on the flowage or where you do it.
Yeah, so the camp is held at a YMCA camp just outside of New Auburn, Wisconsin. And that's run every fall in usually the second weekend in September. And that camp is on a beautiful Long Lake in Wisconsin. That's the name of it. And a lake just picturesque, full of fish and opportunities for swimming and other water sports, things like that. So the camp is for individuals with aphasia and their loved ones. So typically about 25 to 30 individuals with aphasia come each year, and about two-thirds of them have a partner with them, so a spouse or a sibling or an adult child, various combinations like that. I guess we've had brothers as well. And they come for a 3-day kind of extended weekend. This gives them the opportunity to re-engage in meaningful life activities. So much like you'd expect for a typical um, youth camp, there are a variety of activities surrounding outdoor activities and then some indoor activities. So we have canoeing and kayaking and adapted golf. We have woodworking and crafts of that differ a little bit each year. And of course, we have opportunities for people to have conversations about their experience and connect with other individuals with aphasia or other care partners of individuals with aphasia too.
And is it all different? Would be the best way to say that, ages, or is it more for the younger people?
Yeah, good question. I think our mean age is right around mid 50s or upper 50s. So that's pretty typical. We have had people as young as 19 and as old as 92 one year.
Wow.
But typically, yeah, she was a great lady. Typically, we have probably most people in their 40s to upper 50s, lower 60s. I think that's the typical range.
So it's basically a long weekend?
Yep, an extended weekend. So, and the events of camp go from first thing in the morning until the campfire closes down at night. So often we see people from breakfast around 7 o'clock in the morning until usually around 10 or maybe as late as 10:30 when the campfire shuts down. Um, and I tell you what, the meals and the kind of the downtime moments and things like the campfire time perennially are people's favorite events. I mean, they really like that opportunity just to be with their peers, to be with other individuals who know what it's like. They understand the aphasia and they can kind of forget about the aphasia for a few days,
Right.
knowing that they're amongst friends.
Hmm.
And,
That actually makes me want to ask you a question because I know that with me, it's very, all my aphasia or whatever I do have
Mm-hmm.
is more extreme when I'm like nervous or not like don't know the people around me.
Yeah.
Yeah, when I'm nervous, I don't know the people around me. But is that the case with aphasia too? Is it get easier if you're more comfortable in your situation? Because for me, that's kind of how I deal with stuff.
Yeah, that's a really great point. I think that's true probably 99% of the time, if not all of the time. So when people are more relaxed, when they have communication partners around that understand the aphasia, that are able to give them supports, when they have people who just understand what it's like to live with aphasia, I think that puts them at ease and that makes it easier to communicate. Um, so that's definitely something that affects communication. And when you're stressed or when you're nervous or anxious about something, it definitely makes it harder for individuals with aphasia to communicate.
Hmm. My main issue is my atynemia, and that's what I struggle with a lot. Is my my just it looks like I'm lazy or I'm just not interested in things But
Right.
that's not the case. It's just that I don't have the oomph, the that push to just get motivated to start something or stuff. That's what,
Gotcha. Well, you're here doing a podcast, so that's a pretty good sign that you're moving in the right direction.
well, yeah, it's definitely come a long way.
Now, you do a
So it
lot of
can.
podcasts yourself, don't you, Jerry?
I do. Yeah. So I'm a part of the podcast team for Aphasia Access. And there I do interviews, much like the two of you are doing, with experts in the area of aphasia and the life participation approach. And then I've also been invited to do some podcasts by different podcasts that are out there, mostly talking about communication and counseling and individuals with traumatic brain injuries or aphasia.
If more people want to find out about the camp, how can they get a hold of you or your organization?
Yeah. So the Mayo Clinic Health Systems in Eau Claire has information about registration and contacts on their website, and I can send that information to you. It's something like www.mchs.com, but I can give you that information as well. Or you can simply have them email me, and you have my email.
Yep.
So I'd be happy to take any emails about that and pass that information along to my colleagues. Um,
Or have there been any new researchers in your field that you're working on now?
yeah, I've been collaborating with a professor from Moravian University in Bethlehem, Pennsylvania, and now a doctoral student in Louisiana, Lafayette. And we've been doing some work on the perceptions of individuals with brain injuries on their healthcare team. And one of the reasons is we want to have those voices elevated so that um, their thoughts on what could be used to improve interactions uh, by healthcare providers with individuals with brain injuries can be kind of, those steps can be taken. So we've done some work on finding out opinions, and people with brain injuries often feel dismissed and disregarded. They don't get a whole lot of support, particularly in the long haul, kind of the chronic phases of brain injury. So we're working to develop teaching materials for individuals that are serving, so for providers that are serving individuals with a brain injury. We're actually working on a study, a replication study now that's looking at perceptions of Black Americans because we know that they don't show up in a lot of the other research studies. So we want to highlight their voices as well. Um, and and then the other piece that we've been doing recently is working on something called TBI Connect, a program that comes from my mentor in Sydney, Australia, or one of my mentors. And we're creating a North American version of that. So um, that's an opportunity for people with brain injuries and strokes to learn to communicate more effectively with their communication partners. And we've had some really promising initial um, outcomes from that. So we're just looking to refine that program so it can be used more broadly in North America. So to have a North American version of TBI Connect.
How is transportation for people with brain injuries in your state?
Yeah, good question. And that actually kind of relates to some of the perceptions work that we've been doing because transportation has been a big issue and limits people without the means to, have rides from family members and so forth to participate in community-based supports, but also to get to appointments with their physicians and other medical providers. So definitely an issue. There are some pretty good local services where I'm at but not everyone qualifies for those services. So um, a lot of a lot of progress needs to be made in those areas as well.
Yeah, they're definitely doing a big crackdown on that now. I Me in particular, I don't think they're going to be accepting me because I'm in the process of looking for a job, and we just recently found out that if I do get this job, the transportation company will not take me back and forth to it, and that is a huge issue for me. And if they won't take me, I don't see how I can work. And
Yeah,
yeah,
that seems problematic for sure. And I know there are some of those rules that get in the way of people receiving the services and supports that they need for sure.
It's almost ass backwards the way it works. It really is. They want you to get a job, but they can't bring you to it.
mm,
Yeah.
And what we're stuck with here, in my case, anyways, even if you take public transportation, they'll figure that you don't need it any other transportation at all anymore because you can get there.
yeah.
And that would even be medical rides, anything like that. So we really have to be careful in the state.
Yeah, that's very frustrating.
But we do get some shopping and things like that they allow me to do within a certain
Okay.
area. You know, I can do about 10 miles away and things like that.
It's like only your county, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
What does Wisconsin offer as far as support?
Yeah, I think it really varies on an individual to individual basis. Wisconsin has their transportation linked to um, county provided services. Um, so the system works well when the county happens to be providing good services. There's been some changes that happen to those local services from time to time that kind of change services. And I hate to say this, but are connected to some political kind of interests, so to speak. So we have times when we have really good services and times when they're restricted and fewer people qualify for those services. But um, right now, I think we're on the upswing in terms of access through those county-based transportation services. Um, but certainly that doesn't meet all needs, and some people just don't qualify.
Well, you're kind of out in the sticks. So is it hard to get transportation for people that might be literally 20 miles away or 30 miles away?
Yeah, definitely hard for those in the rural communities to get that transportation. There are a few services around that provide ride shares and so forth, but if you're probably more than 20 minutes away, it definitely becomes harder. Within the Eau Claire region or area, within a 20-mile circle, excuse me, I'd say we have pretty good services.
Do you find that it's gotten better for most people over time?
Yeah, I think one of the benefits of the camp, following the life participation approach to aphasia, is that instead of focusing on the impairment and the things that people are really, really struggling with, it focuses on what they can do and re-engaging in things that are meaningful. We follow that approach not only in at camp, but in our aphasia groups. We have three aphasia groups that are run in our community and in collaboration with the university. And then we have a number of programs through our brain injury groups as well. So we have two brain injury groups and one poetry group. That's kind of a mix of individuals with brain injuries and aphasia. And all of those adhere to the life participation approach. And again, the the importance or kind of the purpose of that kind of an approach is to help people to return to activities that they're interested in returning to or engage in new activities that they found after their brain injury or stroke. And we find that as people engage in those activities, the opportunities to work on communication, to work on thinking just happen in that real context. And that has an important step in making meaningful change for those individuals. So, not only improving their impairments or their struggles, but improving their social outcomes and connection to other people and
And
meaningful
that's
activities.
usually part of the recovery is the being more social and getting more into the community. It definitely helps a lot with recovery and confidence and every aspect of it, right?
Well, that's why I was
Well,
so glad I got into the book club. It's been very beneficial to me. That's how I got in touch. Melissa's running the program there now. And how long have you been doing that for? That's going on about 12 years now, I think.
It feels like 200.
Yeah.
well, yeah,
But
those are
yes,
great
12.
programs, and I completely agree. That's how you improve by making those connections. So,
I thought I
totally
was
agree.
never going to read again. But with the technology that's out there now, whether it's Kindle or the iPad, it's gotten so much better for me. I've
Yeah,
connected with
that's
so many
amazing.
different people.
Yeah, that's fantastic.
Speaking of
Yeah, and those groups are so powerful. Such a model for, like I said, the work that I do, the work that's happening in a lot of other places. Um, uh, Melissa and I and Julie have done some collaboration with Nick Ben from the UK, from the London area, on project-based interventions. It's been fun to have those connections internationally. And actually, Louise Keegan has been involved in some of our recent work as well. Um, and really, that overlap between life participation and those other approaches is really central to the strength of those programs. Video modeling was actually suggested first, or one of the first people to really advocate for video modeling was Mark Gilvasacker from the College of St. Rose. And that's been an approach that I've studied throughout my career from a research standpoint. And we know that it really helps people to see themselves and to have that physical evidence of themselves in order to understand again what they do well and what they can improve upon. Brain injury, you learn about strategies to improve communication, and you learn about your own communication by collaboratively viewing those videos um, and trying to increase use of those things that are effective communication strategies and decrease those that kind of get in the way sometimes. Um, but I particularly like the fact that um, both individuals with brain injuries and their partners are involved in this process. So both improve.
And I think you've heard that the College of St. Rose is going to be closing down.
I did. That is
Mm.
so sad. It's such an amazing program, and all of the groups and services that they offer to individuals with stroke and brain injury have just been so influential on my work, my clinical work, my teaching. So I'm really sad to hear that, and hope that there are some good next steps underway to continue to provide services.
And what got you involved with the TBI waiver program or being a speech pathologist? Was there someone in your family or just did it come natural to you?
Great question. So it's interesting. My dad was a teacher, and I swore I would never be a teacher, but here I am. But along the way to being a teacher, I decided I really wanted to pursue physical therapy. So I had been doing some volunteering and shadowing physical therapists, um, and really thought that was the career for me. And then one day, um, the physical therapist suggested that I follow a patient that we had with a brain injury into their session with the speech therapist, speech language pathologist, and I was hooked. I really liked that piece of it. So that was really central to my decision to go in a different direction. and get a degree in speech language pathology. And throughout my time, I worked clinically at a level 1 trauma center, and worked with individuals with strokes and brain injuries day in and day out, and just that just nurtured my passion for working with individuals with brain injury and helping them to advocate for themselves and continue to improve over time. My mentor and I, when I first started working, probably a few months after I started working, established a group for individuals with traumatic brain injuries. And I learned very quickly that as much as I had learned from my courses and from reading, that the experts were those individuals with brain injuries. And they schooled me, really in a very positive way. They helped me to develop my skills. They helped me to develop my awareness of kind of the issues that face individuals with brain injuries. And that continues to be the case. I mean, I've been doing brain injury groups and aphasia groups for over 25 years, and they just continue to teach me. Individuals from the groups continue to teach me about what it's like to live with a brain injury or a stroke, and what they need in terms of supports, and and just to listen to them. They are truly the experts.
And the other question that I would have for you, if, say, someone just has a brain injury, like in New York, they really don't tell you much of anything. Like my mother had to find everything. Is there anything in your state that helps people right off the bat, or do they have to do research?
Great question, and that actually relates to some of the work that we're doing right now. Last year, a colleague and I, received a federal grant for improving brain injury services and awareness in the state of Wisconsin. So that grant has allowed us to rebuild some of the support group networks to improve resource facilitation so that people who encounter brain injuries can connect with the right resources and supports. That's a work in progress, but that's one of the things that we hope to accomplish throughout the period of this grant, and we hope to get a 3-year extension of that grant in a couple of years. But that's one of the things we want to accomplish, is developing a system that supports individuals with brain injuries right from the get-go, so that they don't have to find things on their own. I mean, I'm sure that you have people in your group that didn't find the groups or supports until years later. I've had people that are 10 years out and just find our group and say, no one ever told me that about this, and here's other people that understand brain injury the way that I do. And so we hope to improve that.
Mine was basically word of mouth, you know what I mean, because nobody told me anything, Mike. Thank God my mother was able to help me through a lot of that stuff, because she had nowhere to turn.
Such a common thing.
I have one huge question, Jerry. When you and Ken went fishing, why didn't you give him a little nudge, push him in?
Yeah. End it right there.
Now, when we meet in June this year, that gives me some pretty good ideas of what we should be thinking about doing.
All right,
Swimming in the Chippewa flowage.
Ken, we're your buoys.
Without a doubt. Well, again, that's pretty much all we have here, and I want to thank you for coming on.
Thank you for having me. This was a lot of fun, and I look forward to listening to it.
It'll get out there somewhere down the road. We don't know where it's going to go yet, but it'll go somewhere.
Sounds good.
I just want to know when I'm going to get paid.
Me too. Thank you both. It's been fun talking with both of you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Jerry.
Yep.
Bye.
Take care. Bye-bye.
Thank you for listening to F It, I Have a Brain Injury. I'm Jesse, and this is Ken.
And I hope you all get something out of this podcast.
We would love to hear your stories too. See you next time.
See you next time.